last week's recap, I'm going to pick 1 or 2 excerpts from each instrument group, and that's going to be my focus. Welcome to week 2. So today I was dealing with uploading the first week's video and my car, so we didn't practice a lot. Did some warm-up. Played Gavot and Rondo. An hour of marimba, basically. So let's just talk about this week. What are we going to do this week? Cry, probably. This week's going to be structured. It's going to be slick. Do you see this microphone? I've leveled up. This week, I want to bring all my excerpts up to a slightly more acceptable level, which means I'm going to be focusing on the ones that are lacking. This week will be detailed, deliberate, focused, practice. Hopefully. Let's get to day 2 already. Oh my god. What's up? It's like 1:30 a.m. right now. I have shamefully spent most of the evening since 8 p.m. wasting away on YouTube. So let's recap the day. Got in a little bit of practice pad and soft cymbals in the morning. We had a lot of briefings, so it was a pretty slow morning for practice. But in the afternoon, I spent about an hour or so working on some vibraphone, West Side Story, of course. I'm really trying to tune in the pedaling. Not too much, not too little. The Goldilocks zone of vibraphone pedaling. That's the goal. After I got home from work, I practiced some marimba first. I was really missing playing not audition music. So I spent some time working on one study, one summary. I practiced some Chabrier. I think it's coming along. What that excerpt needs is for me to be able to smack the tambourine on my leg better. It's not that articulate or consistent right now. Schumann 3 snare drum. Yeah, that needs a lot of work, so I spent some time on it today. I just had the metronome going. I was looping bars that were hard. It's working for now, but I eventually will have to look at it on a more macro scale and start chunking those loops together into bigger sections. And then I spent the last 10 minutes or so working on soft snare drum rolls. My teacher at UBC, Vern, had this exercise / torture where you would practice your soft snare drum rolls by trying to do it in the middle of the snare drum, as soft as you can. The snare's off, so you really hear everything, and it doesn't bounce very well. And you do that for 3 minutes straight. I did about 5 minutes of that, and then 5 minutes of the same thing, but with snares on and at the edge, just so that I can immediately apply whatever I've learned from the 5 minutes beforehand into what it would actually be like to play soft snare drum. Alright, that was day 2 of week 2. Hopefully tomorrow I don't stay up this late. I'll see you then. It happened again. It's like midnight right now. I don't even know what day I'm on. It actually started off quite productive. I got a decent 2 hours in the morning. Worked on some vibes. I'm trying to work on the triplet clarity. It just sounds like. What helped was playing out more with my right hand in that triplet, because I think I was kind of ghosting the A. So I'll just not do that. I worked on some 4-mallet technique as well. Recording it didn't go great. I also spent about 20 minutes working on Peter and the Wolf. Just for time, really. I was removing subdivisions until it was like 1 click every 2 bars. 5 measures before 51. I tended to drag. For Schumann 3, I found that I drag at measure 155. In the afternoon, I worked on soft cymbals. I missed that in the morning. I didn't get to do it. Some glockenspiel. Apparently it was really loud. I was using my aluminum mallets and everything, but this is slowly coming back into my hands. As for magic flute, I'm still working on the micro time of it all. Some of the 8th notes just are not exactly 8th notes. I also worked on the transition between phrases, because that's important. I got a workout in and came home. What did I practice? I practiced tambourine at home. Always working on that chabrier. I was really just working on the technique of playing that triplet between my knee and my fist, and then going back to not my fist. I think I made some decent progress on that. I watched this Will James snare drum class with the Percussion Conservatory. That was a good time. He talked about Peter and the Wolf and some other excerpts and just audition prep in general. Today was an okay day. I just let the end of it get away from me because now it's 12:30 at night and I should be sleeping. But at least it's not 1:30 at night. Let's shoot for 11:30 tomorrow. It is just past midnight. All right, day 4. Started the day off playing some soft things in the morning. Soft cymbals, soft snare drum roll, some soft doubles as well. And then I worked on L'Histoire du Soldat. That's an Italian accent. That's totally wrong. I worked on the ragtime movement, focusing on the dynamics. Again, just trying to make really clear the distinction between each level. I think it's important that a listener can identify, oh yeah, those are all different volumes, especially because they're listening closely on an audition, and on the music, it shows the dynamic every time. I'm thinking of going 4 mallets and then dropping the outside 2. I could use the bass drum mallet on the bass drum. I could use the soft timpani mallet on the bigger snare drum, and then the harder one on the higher snare drum. And then in the bar of rest, I would quietly drop off the harder mallet and the bass drum beater, and then I can just play the rest of it with 2 mallets, which would make the dynamic steps much more easy to execute. In the Devil's March, I also worked on dynamics there, but I was just kind of learning it still. I need a thinner bass drum mallet. I just really feel it in my ring and pinky finger because I gotta do this, but it's like trying to hold 4 pens with these 2 fingers, and imagine it's a lot more heavy, but I don't have a thinner bass drum beater, so. And then I had to do my office job for the rest of the workday. After work, I got on this Bosu ball thing, put it upside down, and I tried some excerpts on it. It was a good time. Yeah, it was just enjoyable, I guess. Yep, did that for only a little bit. Worked on some triangle excerpts. The Carmen roll is getting better. I can play it pretty consistently if I'm not trying to play super soft, but I need to work on being able to execute it super soft. For Scheherazade 2, I think the speed is getting there. I noticed that near the end, before I have to do the swipe up, the time field gets a little bit weird, so I just have to not do that. Scheherazade 4 worked on the triplet because I got to go up and down, and it's always hard to make that even. Shouldn't be, but that's why we practice. Did some glockenspiel, magic flute. I was practicing magic flute, and then Hannah came in and was like, play excerpts. And then I played some various excerpts. And I picked up my car and had to pay way too much money. But let's not talk about that. I went back to work, played some glockenspiel. Sorcerer's Apprentice, working on that bounce. It's hard. A little bit of rock too. I feel like those 20-inch cymbals I'm really starting to get the hang of. My crashes with them are getting a lot more consistent, which is great. I think it's a worthy investment. And then I spent a decent chunk of time working on Rite of Spring bass drum. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I think I have it learned now. I decided on some sticking choices. Before I was just planning to alternate everything, but now for most of the sforzandos, I'm gonna go right, left, left, because it works out so that the sticking for the rolls all start on my right, and I think that'll just make everything easier. Shout out to Mateen, because I was using his mallets to practice for this. He said I could, it's fine. Yeah, I haven't decided on the tempo for this yet because I haven't listened to it a lot, so I was just working on playing the roll. And then I finished the day off with some marimba. I just ran through the Bach once and worked on the troubled spots very briefly. It sounds so much better on a real marimba rather than my practice marimba. Ugh, breaks my heart. Anyways, that was day 4. 3.5 hours, not bad. And it's only a little bit past midnight, so everything's fine. Things are getting better. Tomorrow's a Friday. Woo! That was week 2, day 5. Keep watching. Day 5. Notice my shelf. I just built it the other day. Had a slow start today. Woke up and had breakfast, and then lunch. And then I watched The Intern and practiced soft snare drum and doubles. That was very enjoyable. I went into work to practice some cymbals and Stravinsky, but I was interrupted by Mateen, and then we ended up playing excerpts for each other. It was a grand old time. What did he say about my excerpts? The Chabrier, the 3 notes, not the triplet, but the bar that comes after the triplets tends to be a bit draggy. He said most of my soft snare drum playing was really nice, but it's just not consistent. He also pointed out in L'Histoire du Soldat that the part was missing a 16th note rest. That's a very important thing to know. We had a hang, and then that was my day. So today I practiced 1.5 plus 1, 2.5 hours. That's pretty good. I have an internment tomorrow, which is a military funeral. We'll see how much practice I can fit in tomorrow, but hopefully it'll be at least 2 hours and it'll be a good time. Oh yeah, and right now it's not even 10 p.m. Good job, me. I almost forgot to rate The Intern. It's pretty mid. I would give it a 6.5. All right, see you tomorrow. Woo! It's almost bedtime. What did I do today? I played for a military funeral. So I've been waiting for around 10 minutes now, and the other people haven't come here yet that need to slow march down this thing. Good times. I watched some baseball with friends. I worked out, and then I practiced crash cymbals for about 2 minutes. before I got tired and decided that it would be more productive to sleep. So yeah, that's day 6 of week 2. Bye-bye. Welcome to the end of week 2 and happy Thanksgiving. So on the 7th day of this week, I practiced about an hour and a little bit. Spent half of that on marimba and half of that on xylophone. Marimba, just technique and gavotte on rondeau. And for xylophone, I tried to hone in on exotic birds and Schumann's Third Symphony. In the 5th line of the exotic birds excerpt, I was tending to rush. I practiced this one other bit, left hand only, and it sounds really groovy. For Schumann 3, the run felt really good sometimes. I think the key is to keep my wrists relaxed, because I've noticed that if I just let it be more fluid, the right notes are more likely to show up, rather than focusing on playing the right notes and then locking up and not being able to play them. That's another week done. But let's recap this week, shall we? So I think this week I practiced significantly less than week 1. However, no, there's no however. I just practiced less. At the start of this week, I was not feeling my best, but the practice sessions that I did, I think, tended to be higher quality than week 1, or at least more detailed focus on one excerpt at a time, which is good, because I feel like last week I was just trying to cover everything a little bit and I wasn't really getting into it. This week I was, which is important and productive and useful and great. I'm continuing to try and play some soft crash cymbals every day, which I'm actually really enjoying. The things that were high priority last week are still high priority, because I don't think I got far enough on any of them to move up a level, to be honest. Maybe I should review the book anyways. Okay, one sec. Be right back. Okay, snare drum. Delcluze, Kiji, that didn't really change. Peter and the Wolf, I do feel more comfortable now. I'd put that at a 2. Scheherazade remains at a 2. Schumann 3, I played this for Mateen, and he said it sounded pretty good, so I'll bump it up to a 2. Okay, so snare drum is all at 2 now, which is pretty good. Chabre, I'll put this up to a 2. Actually, no, this is going to stay at a 3. It's not that great. The rest for tambourine stay the same. Bass drum, for Rite of Spring, I'll say it's a 2 now. I'm more comfortable with it, but I haven't really listened to the part. Check 4, I did not touch that. Scheherazade, I'll say this one's kind of a 2. Like, if I spend some more time on it, it's going to be not bad. Piano Concerto 2, still a 2. Check 4 cymbals, yeah, I didn't touch that at all. I really should. Romeo and Juliet Overture, didn't touch that, but I practiced it a lot before. Herianos, I think the first excerpt I'd put at a 1, and the second excerpt from Herianos I'd put at a 1 as well, but the third one I'm not so confident about. Exotic Birds, we're going to bump that up to a 2. Schumann 3, yeah, that can stay there. I'm surprised I gave myself a 2 for that last week, to be honest. All right, Sorcerer's Apprentice, part 2 is going to go up to a 2. I don't think it's quite a 1, because I can only get it to be good sometimes. Magic Flute, ooh, no, it's going to be a 3. It's going to be a 3 until I've memorized it. I have it like half memorized right now, and it's just not that great. West Side Story, nope, still a 3. Drum set, multi-perk, yep, those are low. Honestly, ragtime can be a 2 still, but that has not changed at all. So hopefully some of that made sense. Again, 1 being the most prepared, 3 being the least prepared. I'm glad that I made some progress this week, but there's obviously still a lot left to do. I think next week my focus points should be bass drum excerpts, l'histoire, and drum set. These three things are the least prepared out of the whole book. There's 3 weeks left before the actual audition. Wow, it's coming up, huh? Time flies, yo. So this next week, the focus is going to be bass drum, drum set, multi-percussion setup. And also learn Tchaikovsky 4. Oh my god. Like, stop procrastinating the learning of Tchaik 4 and listen to Rite of Spring bass drum. Ugh. It's going to be a good week, though, I think. It's going to be a good week. Once again, happy Canadian Thanksgiving. This has been week 2. Tune in next week for who knows. Who knows what's going to happen? I sure don't. Yep.